Am I a picture or a video?
I can hear you.
Oh, this is my first time on Instagram Live, so sorry, I don't know what I'm doing.
No worries, Rivers. Thank you for joining us this. Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you fine, and I see a picture of myself looking confused.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't know exactly what's going on, but it says we are connecting.
Okay, let me press this refresh button here. That did nothing.
Well, I appreciate you joining me. Oh, you still there? Did you go? Let's try this again. Go live with Rivers. Let's try again.
I
How about now?
it's a still image.
Oh, I wish. Well, here. How about this? How about we back out, and you request to join me? Maybe it'll work that way if you request as opposed to me trying to connect with you.
How do I do that?
When you signed in, it says ask to be a co-presenter, and if you hit that, it should send me a message, and I will accept your request.
Okay, I'll try.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. I love this. This is all happening live as well, which is fantastic. This is gonna happen, people. He's there. See, we didn't make this up. This is fantastic. Rivers is here. We're going to talk to him shortly. You know, if we were doing this on Zoom, I know he'd have a real handle on it because of all the Zoom stuff he's been doing recently. So I appreciate him giving us the opportunity to give it a shot over here inside the Verizon Artist Lounge on Instagram Live. All right, let's try. Let me see. Or pin comment. Go live with Rivers Cuomo. Everybody hear Rivers? I think
Yo.
we can hear you.
Okay.
At least we have you audio in the ears, which is good since. Oh, yes! There we are! Look at that! I love that shirt, sir.
Oh, wait, this doesn't... It has to be...
This just
portrait.
made my day, Rivers. This is fantastic. Look at us. Video in my email, and I see you wearing this shirt that I've been carrying around for 25 years.
I've had this shirt since high school.
That's awesome. Me too. You got a couple of years on me, but I have had this myself since high school. And Kiss is a huge influence on me, a huge influence on you, but we could talk about that later. I want to talk about, obviously, what you guys are doing right now. You dropped the song Hero last week off the band Weezer album. But you have to delay, so why the track now?
Everybody needs a hero, but I'm not everybody else. I walk alone, yeah, I walk alone, yeah, I walk alone. Oh. But I was lying to myself, I walk alone, Yeah, I walk alone. Yeah, I walk alone. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was time. Like, it feels like it was written for this moment. Like, we all have so much pent up emotion, and it feels very cathartic to turn that song up. But it's kind of just a coincidence. Like, this, we were planning to go on the Hella Mega tour soon, and it was time to put out a huge rock anthem and put out a heavy metal record. So, yeah, it's just coincidental timing.
We spoke with Pete Wentz a couple of weeks ago, and he says that the Hella Mega Tour, obviously some issues at this point because of the coronavirus. Day, are you all on the same page that this is something that has to happen?
Yeah. As soon as they let us, we'll be on the road, I'm sure.
I mean, a lot of stuff goes into planning a tour like that, especially 3 bands with such big stature, right?
Yeah, you got to feel bad for the poor managers putting this all together. It was all set up. We'd done our final rehearsal. It's a lot of work.
Have you been spending time gearing up for the tour? I know that obviously the album was due to come out this week, but do you still write, or are you just prepping for the tour?
Yeah, I was in total hibernation mode, actually. Just writing, finishing up Van Weezer. I love being a real introvert and just working in the studio. And then so I was, I would have had to rehearse and get my chops together to go back out on the road and get in front of 80,000 people every night for sure. But it's been just doing concerts on Zoom now for the hardcore fans, just a few hundred every night. It's like, it's really been a blessing because I feel like I'm in the best shape of my life vocally, and like I'm playing piano now, getting my chops together, and I have all this time to practice the rudiments. I'm practicing scales and arpeggios and stuff I normally wouldn't give myself the time to do. So it's been there's a real silver lining to being locked down like this. I hope everyone's getting something cool out of it like that.
Yeah, it's interesting. You talk to some people and they feel like it's a great outlet for them creatively. Other people are handling it in different ways, but obviously Island in the Zoom has become super popular. Why did you decide, hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to do these Zoom meetings?
Yeah, you know what? It's always happened that if I'm off the road for a few months and I haven't performed, I just start really craving to play songs for people, and because there's nothing like that. It's nothing like that. Hearing people sing lyrics I wrote back to me in a crowd is just like the greatest thing. And so in previous years, I've always just done like these little club shows around LA, and I do like super long sets of all these obscure Weezer songs I don't normally get to play. But then this time, it's like even that is not possible. So I happened to be doing part of this group meditation every night at 7 p.m. in a new platform called Zoom. Somehow connected to these few hundred people around the world I don't even know, and we're just kind of meditating every night. Maybe if I do this with my fans and I could just sing a few songs for them and hang out and talk, that would give them some sense of comfort and community, and it would be good for me too. So we started doing it, and it's just been amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy how the artists that I've spoken to, they all feel that they have like a personal connection with the audience, with their fans, even though we're all separate in our own houses, because it's almost more personal. Whereas if you're on the road and you're doing meet and greets and you have a second to shake somebody's hand or just say hello, you don't really get that interaction like you get.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And even more, like, I was just thinking about this. You saw the article Dave Grohl wrote about missing live performance.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I agree with everything he was saying. And yet I have to acknowledge how amazing it is to be able to perform every night, like with this great microphone right here, and going to the computer out to these 500 hardcore fans who have their speakers blasting, and like there's no distractions. It's literally a captive audience, and nobody has anything else to do, and they're totally focused. And I can just express like the subtlest emotions with my voice or the piano or the guitar in a way that it's just impossible in a stadium. So it feels like I'm able to perform at a super high level artistically, and I just have to acknowledge, like, of course I miss rocking out for a stadium, but this is really special too.
It's also interesting how you can play whatever you want on these Zoom calls, whereas if you're doing a show, you're sort of obligated to play the hits.
Absolutely, especially if you're playing with the Foo Fighters or Green Day or Fall Out Boy. There's a lot of people there that don't know, like, our 15 albums going back to the 90s. So we play the big hits, and on these Zoom sessions, it's like the weirder, the more obscure, the better. Everyone's just eating it up.
Yeah, the piano take you doing Heart-Shaped Box last night was very cool.
Yeah, I started rehearsing the song before the session, and I was doing it on guitar, and I was like, yeah, of course, it sounds like what you'd expect, but I just thought to sit down and try it on the piano. It's such a simple song, just 3 chords over and over. On the piano, you got 88 notes. You can do all different ways, express those 3 chords in all these different ways, and it really created a mood. So I put it up on YouTube.
So, Ric Ocasek passed away last year, and I know that he was there for a few of your albums, especially early on. What sort of things did you learn from him? And do you?
Yeah, well, gosh, so we learned so much from him. He was there from the very first album, and he's the architect of the sound along with us for songs like Buddy Holly and the Sweater Song and Say It Ain't So. My Name is Jonas. Yeah, I mean, you can listen to our demo tapes before we worked with him, before we made the album, and it's much like grungier and more indie, and it's like lo-fi. And he handed me this guitar that I still use to this day on all our records, and it's the Gibson Les Paul Special, and it just has this biting, cutting, crunchy sound to it that defines Weezer to a large extent. So grateful to him for so many things. That's the first one that comes to mind. I mean, I'd love to pass on what I know, but I feel like he somehow made this transition from being a great songwriter and artist to also being a great producer, which is a very different skill set. And you have to be very professional and have your act together and understand how to communicate or how to do it. And I feel like a total amateur and beginner, and people ask me for advice, and I just end up getting more from them than they got from me. So I'm like, well, how do you do it? I have no idea what's going on. So maybe someday, but if I can figure that out.
Do you enjoy that end of it? Obviously, songwriting and putting out music is probably your favorite part of it, but the behind the scenes producing and making sounds blend together and bringing in new ideas, how much do you enjoy that part of it?
Well, I definitely love the writing part of it. Coming up with a new song is always like it's like therapy. It's like if you really express a situation or a problem you're going through very precisely, it feels like, oh wow, I got that out of my system. Like I've learned and I've grown from that. That's huge for me, and it's probably always be my favorite part. When it comes to the studio, I love just singing the song, a couple times, but then it can get tedious if you have to go over and over, and then somebody says, oh, you know what, let's do it in this other key. Why don't you start over? And then it could be a bit of a grind at that point. And you know, as you go along in the process of making a record, I get more and more checked out. It's like, okay, now you're mixing the record and turning all these little knobs. It's like, okay, I'm gonna go start writing the next record. And then by the time they're mastering, it's like I even forgot what we made.
I'm sure you get in your own head too, hearing it over and over and over again. You're like, wait, did I tweak that? Do I need to go back and make it sound like this? And it's like, it's almost too much information at some point.
Yeah, you got to be careful, and it's always good to play your record for other people that haven't heard anything yet. So I always do that, and then I like rotate the song I'm working on. So if I'm working on song one day, I don't work on song number 1 again until I've gone through the other 10, and then by the time I get back to song 1 again, I'm like, what is this? This is wild.
Favorite track on the Van Weezer album that we should look forward to of yours? I know I'm sort of putting you on the spot.
Yeah, well, I mean, Hero's a real highlight for sure. And there's a song called "The Beginning of the End" that is very apocalyptic and epic, and it's a lot of guitar shreddage and guitar architecture and harmonies, and I think the fans are going to really enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, that Hella Mega show with you guys and Green Day, Fall Out Boy. I mean, you talk about guitars. It was just going to be hours of guitars coming at you. And it's, I think it's one of those things that a lot of people are really looking forward to. And it's cool that we have something to look forward to now once this quarantine, whatever we're calling it, ends.
As amazing as it was going to be, I think it's going to be even more amazing now, because we'll all really appreciate it, and we'll all really be desperate for it. I mean, I guess we were all really spoiled for a while there. It's like so many great tours, great concerts, and great festivals, and you see so much great music, and now, like, all right, open up your laptop and you can see somebody strumming a guitar. Man, by the time we get into the stadium together, it's just we're all gonna be going off.
Right? I can't even imagine that first show that people get to go to. It's going to be like the most cathartic release ever.
Yes.
So you're sitting in front of your piano. I didn't realize that you were going to be sitting in front of your piano tonight.
Yeah.
Did you have any intentions on playing us anything?
No, I mean, I always like playing. Why don't I'm performing for my kids' school, so
Okay.
I'm learning this song from Frozen. Do you mind if I play a little bit of that?
No, that's awesome.
Okay. Just keep up. Let me make sure you can kind of see here. Again, you're gone, off on a different path than mine. I'm left behind, wondering if I should follow. You had to go, and of course it's always fine. I probably could catch up with you tomorrow. But is this what it feels like to be growing in your heart? Now I turn around and find I am lost in the woods. North or south, right is left. When you're gone, I'm the one who sees you home, but now I'm lost in the woods, and I don't know what path you are on. Lost in the woods.
That's awesome. I was not expecting to hear Rivers Cuomo play his role from Frozen today. All right. Obviously we're both wearing the same shirt for our love Kiss. I will show you this piece of art that I've been carrying around for 30 years. This is an airbrush shirt I had commissioned when I was like 10 years old. An artist airbrushed this from a picture of Gene that I gave him.
And you still have it.
30 years later, I'm still people. I mean, there are a lot of people who are in bands now, artists now, that are huge Kiss fans.
Yeah, they seem to be, they don't get the credit they deserve. They really inspired at least a generation of rock musicians.
Yeah, I mean, the guitar work of Ace Frehley on those first 3 albums is just unbelievable. So it's great because, like you said, a lot of people don't appreciate Kiss. They think they're just a big theatrical band, but I think they write good music, and it shows their staying power running around with these T-shirts for 30 plus years.
Yep.
Rivers, thank you for joining us this afternoon. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you guys.
And if you want to check out Rivers, you can sign up for a chance to go hang with him on Zoom, islandinthezoom.com, right?
Yep, that's right.
Awesome. And the Van Weezer album coming out down the road, the new track, Hero. Thank you again, sir.
Thank you. See you guys down the road. Take it easy.
See you, Rivers. Rivers Cuomo just play us a song from Frozen. That was fantastic. I'm losing my mind right now. Anyway, we just had Rivers Cuomo inside the Verizon Artist Lounge on Instagram Live today, brought to you in part by our friends at Mike's Hard Lemonade. I'm going to go drink a few of these and try and comprehend what just happened. That was awesome. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. Tomorrow, Ashley O is going to sit down with the guys, from Milky Chance. And you can always follow us